Test, test, test. Well, we are good to go. There's color storm programs. Oh, yeah, I already did this one. Let's do the Simeon ones real quick. Actually, maybe Eric Davis. Just for fun. I don't know if I've seen the attributes on this card. Yo, what's up, Peely Mama? How's it going? Happy Wednesday. Well, that was a horrible jump. Let's see if we get it anyway. And I didn't get the slide, but it looks like I'm still safe. Sure, I'll take it. What is goody with you? Okay, now I should be able to see what this card's attributes are. You playing MLB The Show at all? Royals Yankees games? Nice. Is it in New York or is it in KC? Actually, I think I saw someone posted about Aaron Judge hitting a crazy home run. I thought that was today, but I guess it was yesterday. KC, nice. Said it was like the farthest they ever saw one hit in Kaufman or something. So that should answer my question. It's a pretty decent card, center fielder. With a little bit of parallel work, probably pretty good. What's up, Diablo? In Kansas, gotcha. Kansas is cool. It's cool if you've already lived in the Midwest, which I have. A lot of open space over there. Got a Fed corrections job out there. Nice. What up, Webb? How you doing, sir? How you guys all doing tonight? I'm gonna play some ranked here in a second. Getting a couple of these moments done. I don't really have anywhere to put this Eric Davis unless my Luis Robert does not pan out. And I've never really been able to hit with Luis Robert cards, so I'm not really expecting too much, but it's got good defense, good power, so I figured I'd try it. It's actually probably some of the most power we've seen against righties outside of maybe like a 99 Robert. But even like 99 Roberts, I feel like kind of get weird splits sometimes. Doing some ranked as well. Let's go. What's the rating at the start? I actually don't know what mine is. It's probably going to be 450 because I did end up playing Weekend Classic last weekend, and I started at 450 as I will be this time. So I basically played all 6 games on All-Star and won all 6 of them. So it was fun. And I think that's where I was. Like in previous years, I've had fun playing up through Hall of Fame. But I feel like ever since the game came on PS5, I just haven't played as well on Hall of Fame either. And so now it's like still pretty fun to play on All-Star for me. Just like hop in, play some games. That's where I'm at. Super Squad is set, finished all collections, and most all the meta cards going to get on ranked once the lady sleeps. But first, last episode of Daredevil. Nice. That is a good looking evening for you there. I should watch Daredevil as well. We just watched Andor. I think I talked about that last stream or two. Finished that. We're trying to. I'm trying to stagger my like subscriptions right now. So we're just keeping like one active, which is so far we've just been keeping the Hulu active, and then I think we're gonna go ahead and just like a couple times a year get Disney Plus. I'm on my family's Netflix right now, but that might change. So I think we might stagger them a little bit. So I might watch a few things on Disney Plus, let it go for another 6 months, and get back on it. 500 now. Buxton, Harper, and Wood. Okay. Is that Buxton? Is that a moonshot card? James Wood, I think, is monthly. And then what's the Harper card? Or not monthly, but like the weekly Tops Now or whatever that is. I'm ready to try this squad too. So a lot of new cards. I think I refreshed, like, completely refreshed my rotation. I've got like a couple new. I'd say half my lineup is new. My bullpen's about the same. I'm getting really weird swings with this guy. I keep thinking that I've squared up the baseball, and then it's not actually squared up. Like, the PCI is not where I thought it was. That's happened a few times already. Let me move my screen a little bit. Let's see if that helps. What up, what up, Greg? Excuse me, sir, but do you have a minute to talk about Freddie Galvis? I'm sorry, I don't. I already have Freddie Galvis at home. Slams door in face. Harper is retro May Lightning. Oh. Do I know about this card? James Wood, retro May Lightning. Oh my. I know Diablo's getting ready for this one. That card looks pretty good for a 95. Oh, collections. There's that Harper. So May Lightning is the Screwball card. Primary changeup. Jacob Wilson's also in here. And you got that Harper. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen this Harper card. I don't know if I have. Interesting. You know I need that Sammy. Meanwhile, Galvis is at home. Galvis at home is really just Tim Anderson with long hair. Could be true. Could be true. Jackie just sent me a message that he was at like the Angels game yesterday, and now he's at the Padres game. And Luis Arias is getting on base. So crazy stuff happening right now. There's Jackie. Love how I watched the lowest scoring game in the series for both games I went to. Nice. Gotta love those pitchers duels when you're only there for excitement and not for the love of the team. I gotta back out of this because I currently have crossplay on. Oh, I guess I had turned it off. I was smart enough to do that. I've been doing that, not like super a lot lately, but I've done that a decent amount lately where it's like, oh man, I forgot to do this thing that I needed to do, so let me go ahead and do it. And then it turns out that I actually was not negligent in the moment, and I actually took care of the thing. I just, instead of being negligent in the moment, I was just forgetful later on about the fact that I actually did do it. Enjoy the Wilson too. 70 power is like kind of not bad for a card with high contact like that. 100K card away from New Seager, so expensive. I forgot about that card too. Rooting for the Padres except for the two Dodgers hitters that homered. So you were rooting for the two Dodgers that homered, so you did have a pretty good experience then. That's good. And away we go. We are into ranked. Right now we have Cliff Lee as our quote-unquote ace. And I think this card's a little bit funky when it comes to the per nines. I think the hits per nine, Ks per nine are like decently low. They're like in the 70s. And then the walks per nine, I believe, are like around 100. Which is kind of the profile I don't mind using in all-star games. When I get to Hall of Fame, I like to flip those. Well, I still like to have high walks per nine, but I definitely want per nines to be a little higher. But I don't mind, like, some of these guys you can kind of throw below the hitting speed. You just can't pitch to Brian Roberts low and in the zone. Just don't do that. Don't do that, but there's ways to get them out. Just not like that. Fought toxicity with toxicity yesterday. You play a bunt cheeser? Did you play a bunt dancer? There's Brian Reynolds out there. I think I'll be able to get Reynolds to P5 after this game. Baseball gods know I play MLB The Show, so the ball died more at Angels and Padres Stadium. Yeah, of course. That's how it'll be. Adam Dunn card is so goofy. Let's find out. What about it's goofy? Like he's so good, or like just the way it looks? I put Brian Reynolds into the leadoff spot today because I went through my like stats with all my players to figure out who's good with runners in scoring position. Apparently Brian Reynolds is not. So I put him in the leadoff spot. Looks like it's paying off so far. Roman Anthony Supercharged, my favorite card of the game so far this year, outside of Ketel Marte. Walker Jenkins was really good too, but I think he had cooled off a little bit. Anthony, like, he keeps touching like 350 and then dropping back down to like 300. Just another crazy one, yeah. I feel like I haven't been able to put many of them to good use, so he is in my lineup today. He's betting 4th, I want to say. Roman Anthony strikes out. Now, this Bautista hitting really well with runners in scoring position, so he went into the 3 spot. Ball judgment was way off, but it could have been a lot more casual. Ooh, just missed that one. Just late, fully in the green. Love that. And let's see what this Adam Dunn can do right here. Egg Malone was good, sir. Just missed that one. See what kind of clutch Adam Dunn has. 92 clutch. That was probably the pitch to hit with Adam Dunn. Timing was good. I just missed it. I swung at that pitch. Knuckleball home run, replaying censored. And just missed that one as well. So I've seen the ball like decently well enough to score some runs here. We'll just have to keep putting it together. And there's that Adam Dunn. Game froze down 4-1. I decided not to care about etiquette and wasn't going to quit out and made him take the L. Oh, man. Honestly, if there are a few exceptions to where not, going with the etiquette is valid. And one of those exceptions is if the other person throws a knuckleballer. I think you're 100% not the a-hole for taking the win there. I think you were well within your rights. Was Waldron pitching right now on Injured? I have no idea. TJ McFarland still plays baseball. Was he a pitcher for the Reds? Barely got at the out at second. They were playing a little deeper because there was a speedy guy, so they weren't expecting double play depth anyway. And this time they're playing a little bit closer. Soriano's first play as my second baseman. Booted. I forgot to show you guys the whole lineup, but yeah, I bought the Soriano today. I'm going to go back and sell him probably after today's stream, if I remember to, because I feel like I say that sometimes and then I forget to sell the cards. So I should be going back to sell him and buy him back for half the price in a week. But honestly, his value will probably go down before the end of stream. So I bought him for like 100K plus. And he is, since he's the World Series card, and it's like not super hard to get to World Series. I feel like every evening, a bunch of people are just going to get the card. Not super hard to get to World Series, meaning like the 700 to 800 thing is what I mean. Worst case scenario is ESH. Had a lot of green late early swings. Yeah. Not been liking that this year. Everyone sucks here. Yeah, fair. I was trying to piece it together, and I was like, I give up. Thank you for the quick explanation. A's now. Are you doing a doubleheader? God dang it. Oh, A's now for TJ McFarland. But he was on the Reds, right? Tristan Casas. Few cards I'm trying out today because like there's some that you just can't use on some higher difficulties or just harder to use. Because that 60 contact versus left can still play on All-Star. This Joey Bart card I used over the weekend, he did really well for me. I also used the Jose Siri Moonshot card because he can still play defense. Despite, unlike most Moonshot cards. And he hit 2 massive home runs for me. Super clutch. Joey Bart also had some good swings for me. This one should slice to the gap. That was a really weird looking animation. If the multiplayer program is the future of online play, it needs a serious rework. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. I don't know how committed they are to the way that it works now. I do really feel like, especially in the context of events and the way it killed events, I do think that that was like almost intentional. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I think that they wanted to spread out or like concentrate the population. I don't think they wanted people playing events this year. I think that was intentional. That being said, I think in the next couple of years we'll see events coming back a little stronger. And I think part of that will be how they decide to rework the multiplayer program. Pirates GOAT Joey Bart. Was he drafted by the Pirates? He's drafted by the Giants, right? Or is it the other way around? You know who the real Pirates legend is? Jacob Stallings. Nobody better. Joey Bart before Joey Bart was Joey Bart. Supposed to be the man who replaced Posey? Who's their catcher now? Patrick Bailey? Stallings is trash? How dare you? Detective Diaz? Oof. All right, finally get a clean inning here. Not a 1-2-3, but no run scored at least. My main complaint is that we're getting the rewind cards from BR Program 3 when Program 6-7 is live at the moment. What does that mean? Like we're getting BR Program 3 as in like the flawless cards are coming in now? Or are there other cards from like the BR program or BR in general? Rotating Henry Davis and a guy named Brett Sullivan because Endy and Bart are injured. Ah, okay. Henry Davis is good too, though, right? Or did he just have like a good card in the game one year? Swinging heavily out of the zone right now. I have to take some walks. Davis needs some time. Okay. 210 hitter. .105 and 95 for Roman Anthony. He looks pretty good. BR seasons are going too fast. That's another weird one. Because, well, a lot of people have talked this year about how BR's like insanely sweaty. And also like not super worth it for the people who are good at it. So it's like a weird dynamic. This is just like how they killed events. It feels like they killed BR intentionally in a certain way. Which I was gonna say is like, okay, maybe they're just doing that again on purpose to push the BR cards. They're not really supposed to be. They're just there, and really they want to push them into the multiplayer program in the future. But like you said, they're coming out like much later, which makes it odd. Because I don't think those cards have been like that insane either. Like they've been decent, but not a ton of crazy cards that I've seen people be like, okay, I really need to play BR for this one. White Sox won, man. What up, Seabic? A lot of wins for the White Sox this June. Thumbs down as in bad for the draft picks. Oh, Astros fan. Gotcha. Yeah. White Sox, I think they split against the Tigers. Did they split the last series with the Astros too? And they won yesterday. Playing at 7 o'clock today. What a dot. Swinging on that sweeper on an 0-0 count. The biggest brain possible. That was a good pitch to swing at. It was not a good swing. Here's a bit of a better swing, but still not great. Got to string something together here and not make 3 outs in a row on 3 pitches. How are the Astros doing this season? That was a little funky. Soriano didn't want to move there for a second. I was going to say, let's see if we hang this one. Absolutely did. Bautista with a good pickup. Strong arm at third. Gets him. I sold a few cards, including Randy Johnson and Rafael Devers, who I didn't really use much. So the hundreds of thousands of stubs I lost on them, it's kind of sad, but whatever. Devers was just okay for me. I think I can pick him off on that first base here. Joey Bart is not a good defender. This is a moonshot Joey Bart. So his fielding is something like he's got some fielding like attributes in the 50s. So not very good. He's just there for his bat. But he does have a double in the game, so at least that part's paying off. But Jason Varitek also had a good bat for me, so who knows? Just kind of looking for that pitch. That shows up as very late, but feedback was going to show that my bat met it in the green zone. So I love that. Ketel Marte batting in the 9 spot now, down from the 5 hole. Still hitting home runs. That ball's still going, 459. Intriguing when they first announced by the time they unlocked the player program, as much as like I dig Jimmy Rollins cards, it's hard to put an 88 in the lineup when 93 Seager sitting there. True. do feel like shortstop is a little bit more thin than some other positions right now. At least in terms of like the easily accessible cards. Obviously, Seager, you have to like collect a bunch, right? Or is that not how you get Seager? But there are some like decently offensive shortstops and some decently defensive shortstops, but not really 5 tools. I was using the Ali De La Cruz, but even that's like an 87. They just got the Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter's fine at shortstop, but he's still like silver. So yeah, I was gonna disagree for a second, Greg, but I agree. Like those cards are not special enough to be putting out much later. My only thing is like I don't know how the pack works for the BR flawless rewards. I assume they still put those in the flawless pack. Thanks to some I'm sitting at 800k stubs. What? Oh, Bautista got a great jump there. Don't usually see that over there. Galvis the Truel 5 tool shortstop. Hush. So have you finished all the collections? Pulled Shohei, Judge, and Witt after I had already bought 3 of them. Live Series Seager and 90 overall Ellie for defense worked well for me. No, the whatever Ellie that was that I was using is great defensively for sure. And I was using him like this weekend and everything. Definitely a legit card defensively. Live Series Seager. He's like really slow, isn't he? What kind of defense does he have? Offensively, I'm sure he's great. I missed that. I had it and I just moved the PCI a little bit. Gauss was the only 6 dual player. That's crazy. No, I think yeah, there's just like not a ton of 5 tools though, right? Over at shortstop. I could tell there right now. I mean, I like the Carson Williams card. He feels a little weird to me, but for some reason just hits for a ton of power. And then his defense is like some of the best defense I've seen from any MLB The shortstop. Silver defense and like 25 speed. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He like stopped and then like turbo dove. That looked a little weird. Not that he was ever going to catch that. I'm just saying it looked funky. He actually got a lot closer than I thought. I just knew he wasn't making it to third. Because, like, I knew I wasn't catching it. I knew he wasn't going to take third even if I missed it, so figured why not. So you get a throw into here. Oh, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. I was waiting for him to take off from third like a while ago, and he just never went. If I win this game, it'll be completely because the other person blew it up on the base paths. 99 tops Galvis. He had an opportunity. That series they played against the White Sox, he had like 3 home runs. They really had an opportunity for it. I don't know if I have a backup catcher. Let me go check. That's the one thing I don't like. I have 2 center fielders. I should have had a catcher backed up. I don't think this is an ideal pinch running situation anyway. So probably not a big deal. If it was the 8th inning, tying run or something, it'd be a little bit more bummed. Man. Trying too hard to hit home runs, I think. As soon as I start thinking center field away, that's what happens. I was trying way too hard to hit a home run. Trying way too hard to pull a sinker inside. Tie ball game thanks to Luis Robert going to right center. Which is what I have to do with him because I can't pull the ball with those Luis Robert cards ever. And they never gave him his like he has like a open high leg kick, slow high leg kick now. I don't think they ever really gave him that. But it's closer to what it is than before. Oh, that looked really weird. That looked really weird off the bat. Not off the bat, but his swing looked really weird. What was that? Did I check swing break my bat? Yeah. Oh, I was like, why can't I do this properly? I have like trigger stops on my R2. So I can't like do Fiden controls with my R2 button. Left Dustin May in too long. I think after Luis Roberts' home run, he should have been out of the game for sure. Instead, supercharged Roman Anthony. Center field, 100th hit for him. He's playing up at a 97 right now because he's P5 and supercharged. And Dustin May staying in the game. Knocked off a little bit of the rust, and now we are rolling. That one gets past the first baseman, too. This guy is probably just like can't believe what happened with the base running. And now Dustin May has to pay for it. I don't know why Dustin May's still pitching. Adam Dunn gets in on the action. 3 perfect home runs in this inning. And they all went so far. That's 116 off the bat. 453. The game's not over, I guess. Adam Dunn with his 125 power gets the high fastball on a 2-strike count, I believe. 3 2-run homers in the inning. We all of a sudden go up 7-3. I'll take it. Getting another collection on top of the big collection Friday, huh? How do you feel heading into Friday? If I had any opinions about collections this year, I would feel great. I would feel hype. That being said, I have 0 collections done this year. So I absolutely do not care. And I've been talking about letting my PS Plus lapse. Next week I won't be streaming. So next time I play this game is probably going to be in about 2 or 3 weeks. So that's my answer. What about you? How are you guys feeling about the another collection after big collection? So there's another like Scott Rowland coming up. Is that what you're saying? Like another Scott Rowland type collection? And there's another big one on top of that? Is that what we're hearing? Missed that one. Thought I had it. Sounds like Diablo's all cut up in his collection, so I'm sure he'll be getting in on that pretty soon. There we go, Joey Bart. Couple of hits for him in this game. Drop in 30-some cards Friday. Is that another, like, big program they've got going on? What is that, what is the plan for them there? Probably have the collection done by the weekend, then play Road to the Show anyway. Yeah. It is interesting. There's so few 99s in the game. It does feel weird to me that they're putting in more 99s. I like collections, by the way. It's just not how I'm playing these last couple of years. Last couple of years that I have played. But I like the concept of the collections. I think they're fun to work towards. So generally that's cool, but I feel like the power creep, I don't know if we've ever seen a power creep this slow before. I could be wrong about that, but this is one of the slowest power creeps we've seen, which I'm personally cool with. I know a lot of people have not liked some of the cars and have other concerns with it, whatever. It hasn't been for everybody. I'm personally cool with it, but I do think there's like some weird stuff about having these additional collections that go as 99s. I think it's cool when they're doing these collections for all these additional programs, and when there's collection cards in there, I think that's fun for people who are like really grinding that stuff out. I just a little weirded by 99s. That's all. Trying to figure out too many things at a time. How many vouchers we'll need, how many cards we'll need for each voucher, how many vouchers will be added. I mean, that'll solve itself, right? Player of the game ended up being Ketel Marte with a home run and an RBI. I feel like we had some pretty good performances there. Everybody else that hit a home run just had one hit, so I guess that's why. But we do get a complete game from Cliff Lee. Didn't start out the game too great. I think he gave up 3 runs in the first 2 innings. We get this Andrew McCutchen card. Yeah, but preparation. Oh, you're saying like as in from the cars, for that one. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. My preparation. Is it bad that I P5 Yohan Moncada already? No, it is not. And I'm a little bit jealous, Dan. I'm a little bit jealous. That is one card that I want to use. Well, that's one card I want to put on my like White Sox team, which is not quite ready for ranked right now, especially with some new cards that came in. One of them was a White Sox card, which is cool. But White Sox don't have enough pitching for me to have a White Sox team right now. This is the squad if you guys haven't seen it. I think Casas didn't really do anything that game. He did line out 0 for 4, but everybody else did pretty decent by the end of it. I think Soriano might have also been 0 for. Yeah. He was also 0 for, but pretty good game nonetheless. He's very good. Boo Casas. Why boo Casas? When you're going to make World Series? I haven't made World Series since the first season because I haven't been playing. I might even have more co-op World Series than regular World Series. How do you like that new Luis Robert? I can never hit with him. Schweiker axe throwing? Whoa. I've never been axe throwing. That sounds fun. I've never been able to hit with him any Luis Robert cards, but he did get the go ahead, or I think game tying home run, 3-run homer to right center last game. So on paper, I think he's good. And we're going to see if I can keep it up. Giving up the home run to Beltran to lead off this game, though. Last game didn't start well either, so I'm not getting too concerned just yet, but Bob Feller starting it off poorly. So to fully answer your question, Dan, I just really like Soriano cards. That's why I got them. And I will probably, if I remember to, I'm going to sell them after this stream. And then I'll buy them back later. Made it to CS during Weekend Classic. Nice. How much was your rating increase for that? You can kind of choose your way because now they have it changed. So, like, you stay in your same difficulty, right, during Weekend Classic, which I don't mind. Like, I don't mind if people can, in the last weekend, climb up to World Series just by playing an All-Star. I have no problem with that. Especially with how cheap some of these World Series cards are. Especially how cheap they will be during the last weekend of Ranked. It would be a lot different at the beginning, but I'm totally fine with it. So I don't know how my, like, you know, your division or whatever, your group of 100. When I finished playing, I played only 6 games, and I finished playing on Saturday. I was either in like first or second place. But when I logged on today, I didn't get any feedback about where I placed. So I don't know if I got scammed or if that wasn't good enough. Because I had like a plus 250, somewhere around there. My rating was like plus 250 during Weekend Classic. So I thought that would be at least enough to be in top 10, but maybe not. If I could do it in 6 games, definitely other people, if they played more than 6, they could easily do that, especially if they're like grinding that leaderboard. And if they were in the same boat as me where like I'm not really supposed to be in that division, I just hadn't played ranked. So if there's even just 10 of those people, then it makes sense. I thought there was only 1 out. Didn't get anything from finishing top 3, and I logged in like 20 minutes after it finished. Oh man. I had heard that was a problem in the first week, but I just assumed that they had fixed it by now. So I guess not. Brian Reynolds gets some like weird loopy swings. In that case, I just thought it was going to be a whiff. John Donaldson, I have faced him at least a few times, especially in like co-op and stuff. So I was going to say, he doesn't scare me that much. How do you guys feel facing John Donaldson and Randy Johnson so far this year? In previous years, they were funky, they were annoying, but they were like 99s. And right now, we're facing some lower tier versions. What up, Alex? Hi, howdy ho. Hi ho, howdy. What's up, sir? Happy Wednesday. You're playing some ranked. How about you? Oh, there was ball 4 by a mile. That's why we swung, so we can set up the home run. Oh, lost connection doesn't even count. We take a 2-1 lead and they quit. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Donaldson giving you nightmares. Randy ain't so bad this year. Easy dubs. I'll give you credit for that one, Alex. You walk in and they just quit. Al Leiter tears me up on Hall of Fame. Has that card been out for a bit? I saw there's an expensive Al Leiter in the market, right? What am I thinking of? This one? Is this new? Is this in the multiplayer program? Isn't there another Al Leiter? The old one does. The new one has me terrified. Okay, gotcha. was like, am I making up this card in my head? Sinker, cutter, curve, slider, changeup. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. I can understand that. Yeah, the Randy Johnson, he doesn't throw. I think there was a Randy Johnson that had a sinker or something at one point, but this one doesn't. The pitch mix for that Randy Johnson's not very good, and I feel like he hangs a lot of pitches. We're trying out the Whitey Ford, guys. You're about to witness a Whitey Ford masterclass. 400K in the last week and flipped it all for packs and got nothing. Al Leiter and Soriano World Series. Other Al is Blue Jays collection. Makes sense. They've got a live series pitcher right here. Rolling spring breakout to get the other 3 cards and head into ranked. Okay. Just to do the showdown and then you get the rolling card. That's pretty good. Blue Jays collection. Makes sense. All right. This person has the World Series banner. Looks like they might not have played in a little bit. The roster looks a little old too. So maybe we won't see a Whitey Ford masterclass. Usually playing down here in like the 400 or 500s, I can dice a little bit more, but this one, we'll see how long Whitey Ford can last. Masterclass. Here we go. Yeah, we'll see if that Al Leiter pops up today. Less likely. A lot of the people in this part of the ranked ladder are not going to have that card. Then again, I have the Soriano, so. But I mean, I feel like anybody playing me right now has probably not faced the Soriano until they face me. Just because I decided to buy him for no reason. But we'll see. Is starting pitcher premium, like, I don't think you should pay 100K for this Soriano. I think there's definitely an argument to be made to buy 100K Al Leiter. I think it definitely can be worth it to buy those expensive starting pitchers. Not so much for infielders or batters in general. It's going to have that. I still have to do the Diamond Quest. Speak of the devil, you're using one of the cards from that map. Which one's on the map? We got to do co-op it one day again. If it works, yeah, true. We've actually been doing co-op for the last couple months. Last week was the last co-op stream. So I'm pretty much done with co-op at this point. But I might bring it back later on. Who knows? Whitey Ford. Whitey Ford Masterclass incoming. This is what I decided to do, is to figure out who the budget ballers for the rotation are today. So I think I bought a rotation. I think all 5 guys in my rotation right now are brand new. And so I think I bought most of these cards for like 15K or less. But these are not Hall of Fame cards. These are not cards that you throw in the 700s. Nate Pearson is super good. He's going to be, I think he's in the rotation for next game. That ball needed to be inside. I think that ended up right at the top of the zone. That was a weird arc. I don't know if you see the arc, saw the arc on that swing though. It was like a slice. It was like a slice to center field, like almost top spun. It almost looked like it was hit a little bit towards right center and then sliced towards left center. Or just like slightly to the right of the fence to the left. So I don't know if Manny Ramirez has an odd swing like that. I'm not happy about walking Devers lefty-lefty, though. I shouldn't have really put myself in that position. Should have attacked a little bit more. Live series Garrett Crochet. He's playing up in an 89 because he has some captain. Cutter, sweeper, sinker. First pitch could be an out. Not the greatest part of the yard to hit it to. Yeah. Unfortunate. Pooped on that swing, though. L game. Yoshida or Buckholz captain. Just missed that one. Well, then. You got Harper, too? Nice. I didn't even know that Harper existed until today. 99 Harper looks better in a national uniform, and I'm convinced it's a scientific fact. I thought I was getting myself back in this ball game with the first pitch. Not quite. I was hoping it would at least fall for a double, but probably got some speed out there in center. Unless it's Roman Anthony. Roman Anthony doesn't have that much speed. But the ball did hang up for a while. It was a fly ball. They baited us for real. Bautista gets on base. And we got Adam Dunn coming up. It's going to be Dunn versus a lefty. That was a late swing, but I caught it out in front of the plate. I'll take it. Check swing strike in the zone. So he's 79 contact against lefties, but he's got like 92 clutch or something. If only there's a way I could get Bautista over to second base. And unfortunately, it doesn't get to the wall, so I'm not going to be able to score. So we're going to have Soriano do something here. Nats Harper has a better chance of making my lineup because he's an outfielder. That's very true. But I don't know. The first baseman might be better just because obviously you have more competition with good hitters at first base, but what was I trying to say? Get down ball. Nice. All right. Good swing so far this inning. Could have the lead. No thanks to their center fielder. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. We didn't need the Brian Reynolds home run. I was going to say because Harper sometimes doesn't get great speed. So sometimes it's hard to put him in the outfield. Sometimes you want that first base. He keeps trying to float these off-speed pitches away, and I'm ready for it. Simply too many options at first. Ortiz, Tomei, Pujols. If we can be so fortunate to get him back in the game swiftly. True. All right, another starter coming in here. Just missed. Oh. Okay. Does that answer your question, Mr. Axe Throwing? Low and away slider. Early swing. First pitch from Jordan Zimmerman. Definitely should not have swung at that ball. Definitely shouldn't have tried to pull it. But apparently the guy can hit. I'm bummed I missed co-op. We'll see what happens after I move. Currently my schedule is Wednesdays, but we'll see what happens. We can consider doing some weekend streams. No promises. But everything's going to change after I move, so I'll figure out exactly what the best options are at that point. And maybe then it works out then. Are you going to be bringing your PlayStation to college, Dan? Is your mom going to be checking in to make sure you're not playing PlayStation on the weekdays while you're in school? But yeah, that's the big thing. The nice thing I would say is that DH is a thing this year. Last few years, obviously, but sometimes you can throw those first basemen at DH. And then really it comes down to like the swing. Especially like a 99 Harper. If you have a 99 Harper that plays first base, I think his hitting attributes are going to compete with anybody. And at that point, it's just like, do you like his swing more than others? And if you really have a first baseman you like, then at least you have a second opportunity for him to be at for DH. Harper and co-op is nasty. I believe it. I like hitting against lefties with him too. Got a Harper walk-off 90 hater. Let's go. Was it a 2-run homer? You like 4 homers in 2 games in a double? All right, Whitey Ford Masterclass is slipping away quickly. If I can get 4 innings out of Whitey Ford, I'm chilling. My bullpen is fully rested. I got a complete game 2 games ago and then a quit last game. In fact, because of the quit last game, I did have to pitch an inning. But because of the quit last game, I might be able to sneak in a starter. And I have an extra starter laying around. So even if I use a starter, I can just take him out of the rotation. 1 run? Okay, fair. Revealed as a legend later this year because some hecklers in this game are shouting Albert in the stand. Oh, how I want this to be true. Oh. There's a theory. I really liked Bregman's swing when I used him for a few games early in the year. I think this is probably a live series Bregman or something. Unless there's a Boston Bregman lying around. Is there like a Tops Now card or something for him? Oh, new threads. Yeah. I liked some of those early programs for guys that are like either they used to be really good or you just don't know if they're going to have a good season. Or like sometimes you look in hindsight like, oh, they had a bad season where you thought like they were a big off-season signing. And so you think that they're going to be having a great season. So you're just waiting for like their 99 all year and then they just end up being really bad. And it's like, shoot, they never got a card. So I like these kind of programs where it's just like, okay, let's give them a nice card early. Make sure they get something before whatever happens during that season. Injury or bad season, down season, whatever. Came out day 1. Who is from the Tommy Ford Diamond Quest map? Oh, that's what you're saying with Whitey Ford. Gotcha. I don't know. I never saw the map. Haven't looked at any offline stuff. 406 through 21 games from Moncada. I do want that card. Sounds like he's still got the sweet, sweet swing. So last inning, actually, I just realized, first inning, I was out with the first 2 batters. So all 6 runs were scored with 2 outs. Collection for 18 pipeline passed. I've pulled like I think I've pulled a few of them. Just from like program packs and whatever. You're asking who is? I don't know if I understand the question. Who is from the Tommy Ford Diamond Quest map? I assume Tommy and Ford. Only need to do the showdown one more time. That was quick. That was a quick 2. Oh, it gives you 2 players. Gotcha. Foul tip. Crazy, this consensus that Diamond Quest is super good. I haven't touched it since like the first week. Do you dislike it, or is there another reason why you haven't touched it? Because I don't like it. I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like those kind of all or nothing game modes in any game, which is why I haven't touched it. But I don't know if people are still going to like it after the bunt cheesing is patched is the word I'm looking for. Diamond Quest is boring. I like the concept of like mixing in moments. The one or two times I'd played it, well, the first time I played it once, and that's what happened. Like I won my game on GOAT and then like lost my game on Hall of Fame because I had a negative modifier applied by the time I got there. And so I lost everything in the final game of the run, and I never played it again. So yeah. But I thought like the process of playing it was fun. It really didn't feel great, like feeling like I had wasted my time. And that's what I always say about this game is that's when I really don't like it, is when it feels like it's wasting my time. Watching a game earlier today, they're talking about the Nasty Boys Reds bullpen. I gotta say, Norm Charlton and Randy Myers would be good additions to DD. Nasty Boys program. I like it. Gives me stubs. Only way to make them. That's also true. There's not a whole lot of ways to farm stubs these days. That one's going to stay fair. Good approach on that ball. If there's a lefty up, I'll keep him in. Let's see what happens. They've taken a couple walks with lefties so far. I dislike Diamond Quest, but the reason is 4 stubs. I can flip while I work for PXP, rather play Conquest and not deal with the extra moments. That makes a lot of sense to me. PXP from Diamond Quest moments would make it a lot better. Wait, doesn't it though? I seem to remember getting PXP or some kind of progress. Maybe it was mission progress. You get something, right? See, most people have the same top players. I haven't seen anyone with Greg Maddux, Mariano Rivera, Lenny Dykstra. I wonder if all the players are always available to get in every game. Oh, that's a home run. All right. That one looked, for some reason, was there something about that looked like it was going to be off the wall? Because I just assumed that was going to be off the wall. I don't know why. All right, we blew the lead. Whitey Ford Masterclass is over. Probably should have taken him out after Marcelo Mayer. I actually meant to do that. I did not mean to pitch to the last guy. Let's go to a starter. I'm going to go Satchel Paige. Just the showdown. So, I wonder if all players are available to get every game. Are you saying like every game is in every year? Definitely from year to year, between like 24 to 25, whatever. The game loses a bunch of legends because they have contracts for the current year. Probably multi-year contracts for some of them, but was that the question you were asking? Yeah, so yeah, from year to year, definitely a lot of them cycle. So there's like, I think they like to add like 30 to 40 new ones every year, and then some of them quietly fall away. Is there a Greg Maddux in this game? I could have sworn there was a Maddux, but maybe not. Especially with some of the cards, there have been a few guys who got into like legal troubles right as, like 1 year after he got into the game. Albert Bell, I remember that happened. Is that the situation with Mariano Rivera? I don't want to be making stuff up, but I feel like that was the case. Some players just get into legal troubles and then they like cancel the contract or whatever, or they just don't put a card in. Man, some of these swings have been pretty good. Just finding gloves. Just late in the green. Cubs collection reward. Yeah, and then that's another part of it, Cemetery Man, is the way that you get the cards can be very different from year to year. So you might find that like everybody has what's a card you might see this year? What's a card that you guys see in every lineup right now? I don't know. I guess I haven't played that much to really know. But let's say there's a really good Mike Trout. Sometimes they'll drop a really good Mike Trout as a 99, like 3 weeks into the game, let's say. And maybe you see him throughout the year. But then the next year, they'd put him in like a program like towards the end of the year. So you might find that just some cards are just not as accessible. Maybe they cost a lot more. They also like to rotate like who is really easy to get. John Smoltz is gone this year. Okay. Santander, Beltran. Yep. So you might find some of those guys all year long in many lineups. And the next year, like, they might still be in the game, but they might not put like a Beltran to be available until like July or something. And then maybe he'll be like really hard to get. Or they'll make him a little worse. Or they'll make, they'll give him like an 85 at the beginning of the year. So all that kind of stuff adds up to like why you see certain cards. Don't remember specific elevations against Rivera, aside for the fact that they were very serious. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember for sure that it was him. So thanks for the backup. I feel like there's like a lot of allegations. It's almost hard to keep track of, which is sad to think of. Sad to think about. What up, Matt? How you doing, man? Well, what's good? Yeah, a lot of that stuff is like, it doesn't get resolved super quickly as well. So it's like an awkward position where, man, a good, not going anywhere either. That one's probably pulled a little too much for a slider on the corner, but I pulled a slider on the corner for a home run earlier in the game, so. Yeah, like some of that stuff isn't resolved, so we don't know if like anything actually happened and it hasn't gone through the court process, but it seems like with specifically like domestic violence, they tend not to take players out of the game when it comes to allegations until it gets resolved. I think that's what we've seen. But there have been some other things that have happened involving children, and those guys get out of the game like the next day, even if it's just allegations. Those guys end up being out of the game like the very next day. People haven't been loving this year's show at this point in time. How are you liking it? So I've been playing it like once a week for stream. This week I played Weekend Classic. And I played a bunch in like the first 2-3 weeks. I would say I had a decent amount of fun playing it the first few weeks. The reason I stopped playing was just getting busy, mostly due to time. And because I really like try to put some effort into it at the beginning of the year because I wanted to see if I was still good. And once the first Weekend Classic happened and I didn't play well, so I decided I wasn't good anymore. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to play casually. So it wasn't really like, there was no connection of like, oh, I think the game is bad, therefore I'm not playing it much anymore. It was just because I felt like I wasn't good at the game anymore. To where, like, to my old standards at least. And so the amount that I've been playing it, I've had fun. I have no idea if I was playing it the amount that I used to or the amount that a lot of other people play it that dislike it. I probably wouldn't love it. San Diego the entire day, haven't spotted Ramon yet. What point do we just decide that internet people are going to complain about the game regardless of how it is? Yes. Also true. I would put myself in that category. Because even then, like, I still get on the game and then I complain about it for like the first hour of stream. But I think when I complain about it on stream, I don't know how it comes off necessarily, but the way I discuss it, I hope is more in a constructive criticism kind of way. Even if I do rant about it a little bit. So I feel like I try to at least, any conversation we have about the game, I try to provide a solution or like specifically what I think is wrong. Because I actually, like, when it comes to game development, what they usually say is like, developers don't want to hear your solutions because that's their job, but they do want to hear your like specific critiques. And like on some level, like, we don't actually know how to fix anything. I like to think that I have a good grasp of what some concepts are. But even then, like, a dev doesn't want to hear that. They're trying to figure out the answers. We're trying to figure out what we don't like and try to be specific about it. So I try to be very specific about the stuff I complain about. That being said, I've had fun when I turn on the game so far this year. But I think I don't have any more desire to play it more than I have as well. Hashtag bring me back to who should not be named. Oh, he was already named multiple times earlier in the stream if we're talking about the same guy. If you want me to know who it is, he's very much going to have to be named. I think y'all know. Freedom at last. What's going on, Freedom at last? How are you doing today? Kenny told me about you. Well, thanks, Kenny. And welcome in, Freedom. I'm just trying to rack my brain to know if I know a Kenny. Reds legends, White Sox legends. IDK Pete Rose. I assume he was talking about Freddie Galvis. What did you guys think? If there's a number one Kenny fourth quarter, Kenny? Oh, KDJ. Bingo. Shout out KDJ, doing some great podcasts. I haven't watched too much MLB The Show content, but I have watched a couple of KDJ videos. I think a couple of like J Mills videos. Because he had like the tempo one and stuff. KDJ, gotcha. Well, thanks for coming in. Hope you're doing good. I feel like I just watched one of his podcasts. I can't remember which one, though. Who was on that one? Was that the one we were talking about, Webb, with like D3 on the KDJ podcast? He had Nutsy on. Maybe I saw a clip of that. Man, that's not a great swing, but we've had a decent amount of good goods not do anything so far. We had a great first inning. I guess it's time to lock in. Jordan Zimmerman came in through one pitch, gave up a 2-run homer to this man, Luis Robert. But I haven't done anything since then. Just a lot of these. It's Gannon lately. Nice. Good stuff. What's your favorite team, Freedom? New ones dropped with Drew, Scan, and Julian. Okay. And another one with Nutsy. But the collections. Well, I was just talking about how I do like collections. I think it's a little funky. I have been out of the loop. Like I'm super casual with this game these days, and not really on Twitter much anymore. That being said, I like when they do collections. I really like the program collections this year. As someone who hasn't done any of them, I think they're fun, and I like when I'm really grinding out the game. I like when there's a lot of collections. I do think it's a little weird when the 99s are coming in this early when there's like no one else comparable. That would be the only thing. They don't let spotlight ones. Okay. It's been a while since they've done collections where they preview a card. They haven't done that since like 2018, I want to say. Since that like Ted Williams card. Ted Williams, Mike Trout, and like the event program. I think they stopped doing it since then. So I am kind of surprised to see that come back. Maybe just testing the waters a little bit. This Manny already has 2 hits in the game. I caught way more plate than I wanted, but it's now. Did you catch my WSL? I did not. If you didn't see also WSL, draft order and a Word document about draft rules is in Discord for Season 3. Sweet. When are you looking to have that in by? Favorite team is the Jays. Okay. A lot of Jays fans rolling through here. Sorry, I missed your message earlier, Matt. You lost the urge to buy the game. What was the what causes the up and down? For me, it's usually like real life baseball. It's like I watch a few baseball games and I'm like, all right, I really want to play real baseball or play a video game baseball. Or I'm just trying to think of like when I got 2K this year and I played for like 2 days. But it was when Derek Rose, got his number retired or whatever by the Bulls. And so there was a lot of talk about Derek Rose from former players and stuff like that. And so that got me like thinking about basketball again and wanted to play. So stuff like that gets me juiced to get back in. Thought was it wasn't on Game Pass. I wasn't wanting to commit $60 and not be sure how much I wanted to play the game. The Jonathan India card specifically. Interesting. I just unlocked that card today by doing some moments. What's wrong with the India card? Hadn't thought twice about it. All right, first run scored since the bottom of the first inning. Let's see if we can tie up the game here soon. Man. There are a lot of like garbage cards. We were talking about this last week. There's a lot of garbage cards in the game this year. So I really want them to rework how like rosters work or how your inventory works, because you're just like cycling through cards so often and there's so many like useless ones. Especially with events not really being viable this year. There's a lot of cards that just never get used. Still watching everyone play and just an urge to casually play and have fun. Seeing so many people say they aren't liking this year's game and remembering my past experiences. Sounds like you missed seasons. Not exactly. Chris Move get a 127-point triple-double in my player got me geeked to play 22K. Keeper's deadline will be before the draft. Most likely won't be about a week, maybe a week and a half when Ed gets back from vacation. Gotcha. Takes the walk to lead off the 8th. See, Satchel Pages only have 40 pitches, so I'll keep him going. Do I miss seasons? I don't think so. I didn't play much of seasons. I played 2 seasons worth of seasons probably. So I didn't really play last year. And I played like the first set of when they first dropped seasons. And it like that wasn't captivating for me either. I thought it was an interesting way to do it, and I will say, like, when they announced seasons, that's one of the reasons why I got the game that year, because I thought it was a cool way for them to try something new regarding their inventory. God dang it. That was one of the reasons why I tried, because I wasn't even like, I gave up on card collecting modes prior to them announcing sets and seasons. I think they didn't execute it well. But I was on board for them to try it. I wouldn't want it back necessarily, because I would rather them work the other direction. Because right now they work bottom up, if that's a good way to put it. Like you're power creeping, and you get better cards and you put them in your lineup. And that's just kind of how it's always been. So that kind of negates any reason to have worse cards. And so when you drop 85 overalls, like after like July, it's like, what am I supposed to do with these cards? That should have been an out. A good throw would have got them. Don't mind the game. I don't see a point in beating up the CPU on rookie to complete objectives. Also valid. Very valid. Distribution cycling through them as opposed to cards are dropped and people never touch them. Thankfully snags that one. You get home on the 20th. Might be a hot take, but I liked sets and seasons just because I liked using my favorite cards. You're saying you liked using them as in you liked to get them early enough that you could use them right away? Aye. Aren't rushing to have the draft, but also want everybody to be around for it this season. Gotcha. My schedule is funky. I'm going to be gone the weekend of the 20th. I think that's a Friday, right? So I leave the Thursday. I'm going to be pretty busy that whole weekend. And then I'm moving that week. I'll have some time during the moving week, but that weekend I'll probably be busy. I thought you were one of the people that hated seasons, but I don't remember now. I just didn't really play. I didn't play during seasons that much. And I do think they executed it very poorly. What's happening on the 20th? Egg is coming back on the 20th. He is returning. Get triple the XP than what you get on rookie. What do you get right now? Like 1.4 or something? There's another thing too. Can't remember off the top what I'm thinking of. Definitely, I like difficulty multipliers. Maybe it was on moments or something. No. What am I thinking of? I like difficulty multipliers. I wouldn't mind a little extra. Get through. Spin took too long, so we're going to get to first base. But yeah, I do definitely have a tweet somewhere saying that I liked when they announced sets and seasons originally. I do definitely have some paper trail of that. But I know I've talked about on stream how I think it was poorly executed. All right, Casas gets us a double. Not a double, but he gets the runner to third with a guy who can hit lefties. Joey Bart, though, has not great clutch, which at this difficulty doesn't matter too much. Look how big of the PCI still is. Got the check swing somehow. Got a lock in right here. Staying alive. It's a tougher pitch to hit. I am looking for something away. Ooh. I think it'll take a couple days to move. Are you planning on just doing it in one day, getting it done? It's going to be a whole thing. early in the week is more likely to be free, but the thing is, like, we'll talk about it a little later, I think. I'll try to get on a call with you this weekend. I'll let you know what my plans are, but line drive out. I've had some good swings in this game. Even if I lose this one, I didn't score since the first. I feel like I had some decent swings throughout, but we'll come back. We'll win this in the 9th. Not a big deal. And 1.5 for online. What is it currently then? Dude, food late on back-to-back fastballs. Was it sinkers, though? I don't count sinkers in the same category. But the moving, like, we have a set date, but we need to get stuff done for it, and I'm still working, so, and traveling. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that week, which is why it gets a little dicey to know exactly what's going to be going on. Sinkers cheating. Someone who play rookie will achieve objectives quicker still. Yeah, that's true. As someone who has attempted to P5 some cards first, well, I haven't done it in a few years, but definitely playing on rookie is the move for that. So it is true. Okay, I'm going to take Satchel Paige out of the game. But he got like 6 innings for me. That's basically a start. I'm just going to have to replace somebody in the rotation. That's all. They could make the minimum difficulty all-star. Which kind of stuff are we talking about specifically? I'm just out of the loop on like what people are doing to grind right now. Talking about like conquest and stuff, or like mini seasons. All right, we got a good lined up throw here. We're gonna pump fake that. Just keep pump faking it. He didn't want to like fully pump fake. Oh, the 500 PXP stuff. Gotcha. That makes sense. Oh, that is not good. Splitter right down the middle. What's up, Derpy? Yeah, there's there is a conversation to also be had about like time versus money versus like doing homework kind of stuff. And I don't know how you like solve that problem, because I think the underlying issue with that too is especially in the past, I feel like they've understood it a little bit more, but it's like really hard to solve. Is that some of the programs are kind of designed, when you look at them, they look like they've been designed for you to play with those cards in the mode you've already been playing. But the reality is people will go and try to get it done as fast as possible. And then stuff like when they're on stream and they're talking about how like this card will take you like 45 minutes to get. And that's a little bit, I don't know, like fourth wall breaking a little bit to me, because why are we talking about like how long this should take to get? Because then it just almost feels like, why are you doing it? Because you can say, like, is it fun to play on rookie? Is it fun to do whatever you're doing to grind out those cards? These days, I just want to play with the cards that I want to play with and play online. All right, that one's a good okay, but I thought that was a kind of swing that Roman Anthony kind of homers on often. It's like there's a lot of like just homework programs. Like 20 home runs from Cubs, make it 10 if you do it on Hall of Fame. I agree with that. Easier to set things up when you're least busy. I know movies a lot. Yeah, I don't want to hold it up for everybody, but like I'll try to give you a heads up at least on like what the plans are, Web, and then I'm sure we'll figure something out. I just don't want to hold it up. Playing Conquest on a higher difficulty. Tough game. Whitey Ford did not clutch. Satchel Paige did well, though. I'll take Whitey Ford out of the rotation. It's just like that dude was, World Series player, and I was not expecting reasonable competition today, and that's on me. That's a decent amount of packs right there. Playing a higher difficulty than any packs you earn should have a higher percent of diamonds or something. That's interesting. They do have certain things like that. Like, let me go check real quick if they still do it. But they used to have that for like just playing regular games on. Am I missing somebody? No. Playing regular games against the CPU. Play versus CPU and see if they still have it. Yeah. So this kind of thing. Difficulty rookie, like you have a 0.21% chance of getting a diamond. And then as you go higher and higher, you get a higher percentage of golds and silvers and all that kind of stuff. So I think this percentage is like kind of outdated. Like playing on Legend for an 11% chance of getting a gold is crazy. That's probably similar to whatever the percentage was like 10 years ago. So do stuff like that for Conquest makes a lot of sense. It's like they have things like that in Conquest. You get extra fans or whatever, stealing fans and however that works. So they have some precedent for it. So I wouldn't mind them expanding on that for sure. Yeah, I definitely think like the home runs thing. And I think that's why they started doing more PXP stuff like that, Freedom. I think that's why they started doing more PXP is because they could package all that into one stat that you can add a multiplier for. It sounds like it's more difficult for them to cut that into different difficulties for like stats, like home runs, RBI, stuff like that. It was much easier for them to package that into something called PXP and then use that with multipliers. So I think they probably agree with you like conceptually. I think SDS probably is in line with you overall. They still have little things like that where maybe the logistics of it is harder to code or to fit into the programs. And I've also said stuff like ranked seasons should be that way too. To make it actually a little easier for certain people to get certain cards. We were talking earlier about how I don't mind the fact that in the last weekend of ranked, you can play on All-Star in your weekend classic game and get all the way up to World Series. I don't mind that because it's going to take you longer and your reward is going to be cheaper. So my thing is like, I don't mind if they make it so that if someone wants to play on All-Star only, they can do so. It's just going to take them much longer to get to the World Series rating or to the to the card that they want or whatever. I think that's perfectly valid. Appreciate the follow, Freedom. No consequence for the number of turns you take in Conquest. Yeah, they had... do they still do this, guys? Do they still have missions that are turn-based? What did they do that for? Was it Conquest Extremes? They had that for a little bit. And they actually made, like, they got rid of the USA Conquest map. So that's interesting, too. not super worried about it holding up since it's the draft off season. Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll try to take a look at the stuff and at least get you a heads up on what my plans are. Oh, needed to check. Needed to not hit the button when it was way inside, but here we are. All right, Nate Pearson debut. Kind of sad that they got rid of the grind. It would be funny if they kind of brought it back as the regular USA map and then called it Extreme Conquest. Do you think they'll do that in like 5 years? Probably not this year for sure, but that would be kind of funny if they just rebrand regular USA Conquest as Conquest Extreme. Because everybody's going to be so used to like, oh, there's like a Conquest map with like 4 teams on here. Takes like 45 minutes to do. And then it's going to feel like the whole 30 teams is going to feel like a whole extreme situation. That would be kind of funny. I like the extreme stuff too. I think it's really cool that they added those extreme optional moments into those programs. One of them I did. I think the 3 back-to-back-to-back home runs, I did that one. There's another one that's like score 7 runs or 10 runs or something like that in an inning. That one I gave a few shots, but I don't think I got quite close enough on that one. But I think adding optional extreme moments is super fun. Do I have a hit with Alfonso Soriano yet? I think I have like one hit, which was like a grounder infield single, something like that. Is that hanging up? That one is getting past the right fielder. I didn't realize Casas was so slow. Does this guy have a Milwaukee theme team? He's got Yelich in right field. I didn't pay attention to who else was on the team, though. You know what's funny is like every year I say like, oh, I'm excited for conquest moments and whatever, and then I try them, and then some of them I just can't do them. Too washed. I'm starting to get decent at mouse and keyboard though. I've been grinding some PC games. I feel like competent at mouse and keyboard now. So that's exciting. Actually, it turned out I had like mouse acceleration on my mouse settings because I think it defaulted on Windows. And so you're not exactly getting the one-to-one input when you move your mouse. So I turned that off, and then automatically I jumped like a whole rank in the games that I was playing. Because you have to have a bit of luck besides skill. Extreme is fun to try, and there are some that aren't worth the time to do because it includes luck. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the pitching ones where it's like, all right, throw 3 innings and throw a perfect game, and then your CPU third baseman boots a ball in the 9th inning, and you're like, all right, what do you really want me to do here? Yeah, those pitching ones can be very annoying. And again, that's another one where it's like all or nothing, like feels like a waste of time. And you just pitched for 25 minutes, and then something out of your control happens. A little bit too much of that in baseball, unfortunately. You ever meet your viewers? Yeah, I've met some people. I was looking too hard at the pitcher there. For some reason, I don't usually assume that a pitcher's going to get it, but I was for sure thought that Pearson was getting that ball, and then I didn't even look at the second baseman. Because if I had, I think he probably could have played that on the dive. 81 speed, though. He's looking for that pitch. Ready for it. They've also spit on a few low and in sliders. That one wasn't really supposed to be there, but we'll take it. Last game, I thought for sure I was going to win. I didn't really feel too concerned about the guys hitting. It's just Whitey Ford. Whitey Ford was not him, unfortunately. This guy has been pretty patient so far, though. It's a lot closer than I thought it would be. Joey Bart has pretty much nothing defensively. So. Who is this mid-streamer with the sexy beard? What up, a truckin'? How you doing, man? Appreciate the bits. If I wasn't mid, how many bits would I have gotten? That's what I want to know. I'm doing good. Doing good. So out here playing some ranked. Now, if we're talking mid-game play, I agree. Just lost the last game like 10-8 or something like that. Probably like 10. Thank you for the 5 more. I appreciate that. My beard appreciates it. Making contact with that one? What do you think? Do you think it was a contact swing? I don't know. That was way up there. .300 batting average with a .304 on base. That one's going to go foul. Finally lifting a ball with Brian Reynolds. Get some good outs last game. Perfect outs even. And that one goes foul, though. Oh, my God. I guess I can't complain about the foul ball in his eyes last inning, then. What are you playing, Truckin'? Stay fair. One day. That was a good. And that was in the yellow. I don't understand feedback this year at all. They've fixed a lot of things with feedback where, like, before... should I say a lot? They fixed a few things that really bothered me regarding swing timing feedback from previous years. And I think there are so many things that are so much worse. So I almost want to say it's a net negative. When you're looking specifically in like the bottom left for the green timing and everything, it feels like at least 25% of them I don't think make sense. But I think back to previous years and it was probably just as bad, so I don't know. Get the last 3 color cards for the program. Is there a collection on that one too? Color Storm? I feel like I've been seeing the ball upstairs with Adam Dunn really well. Or just him being really tall, I just assumed that it was going to be the low pitches for me, but he's got a really quick swing. So he can hit those upstairs. Just pokes one against the shift here. We'll get Alfonso Soriano, who is batting .222. That's better than I thought. I thought he was batting like .091 or something. 2 for 9. Perfect. The right center. That one should go. Nice. Love me a Soriano card. Just hasn't been great in the first couple games. Opponent has quit. And did not dashboard. I respect it. Got some cards out of this one. Mick Abel, Bob Feller, who I did just purchase. let's go ahead and quickly sell that Bob Feller. Bob Feller did good in his first game, I think. Or did he, I think I got the quit in that one, so maybe he only pitched like 1 inning. $10 packs. I don't know if this is just me, but it feels like, and I've had good pack luck this year. This is probably the best pack luck I've ever had in my life. But something about opening packs this year just feels like a chore. Maybe it's because like those headliners, there's certain packs where you like have to hit open like 3 times. Like you open the headliner, then you figure out which headliner pack you have, and then you open it again. And there's some weird like choice packs like that too. Some interesting situations. Think we can pull Kyle Schwarber? He was going like 250 last time I checked. Joe Adell. There's currently a debate about, is Joe Adell the worst good player or best worst player? Worst bad player. The best bad player or the worst good player? We will never know. All right, 300 for him. Roberts 333. Joey Bart 393. 333. All right, new cards are doing pretty decent. They're not like insane for All-Star, but decent. Joe Adell is your best card right now in game. Live series Joe Adell. I think the stream's favorite player is both. Oh, God. Think so? All right, Dihigo is in, and that should fix the rest of the rotation. After I had to use 2 starters last game. Well, previous game. Not including the quit. So he was on the mound for them. They got Bob Gibson. Loki, Bob Gibson for some reason plays really well. I say plays as if it's current. Last time I was good with a Bob Gibson card was 2018. And that's when I used to pitch on meter. So I was going to say Bob Gibson pitches really well on meter. Not so much on pinpoint or pure analog. Ego's got that little circular wind-up thingy. Here's that Bryce Harper we've been talking about today. That's a Jacob Wilson perfect. Out at the wall. This one is a pulled sinker away. This is actually pretty much where I wanted that pitch. Early swing for the homer. Diego might just not be good. We'll find out. But once again, we have some bullpen available. This time I'm not going to use a rotation arm. Because I could only do that before because I knew I had a 6th guy like laying around. Excuse me. Now that I don't have that luxury, we're just going to go ahead and use the bullpen if needed. I do know the bullpen is fresh at least. Okay, so they pulled the sinker away. They were slightly late on this fastball. Not super late, but keep that in the back of the mind. Digo does throw 100. I don't know if he has outlier. I'm guessing he doesn't, but I'm not sure. But he does throw 100. This Bob Gibson does have a sinker. I guess I wanted it right out of the gate. I'm trying really hard not to overswing and try to like pull balls for home runs. Still early on that one though. Just going to try to hit line drives up the middle of this game. Usually when I try to do that, it works out a lot better for me and I end up hitting a lot more home runs. What really gets in my head is like when someone's spamming a sinker. So for like Bautista, I'll start thinking I need to pull the sinker low and in. Like that. And then I was just late, so I'm like, shoot, if I had been trying to pull it, could have pulled it down the line for a hit. Should I have swung at that pitch? No. But once I start getting in the mentality of like, I need to be pulling a sinker because I don't want to get beat by the sinker and be late on it, it completely ruins my approach. That's when I start missing everything. See these home runs. Let's go. I got you. We're just waiting for the number 4 hitter to come up, Mr. Adam Dunn. That's all we need. Does Paredes card have reverse splits? I feel like we've seen a lot of those this year. 103, 106. I'm pretty sure that's the case. There's some like decent reverse split cards where they're not insane, but for the beginning of the year, they're like, 75-75 against lefties and 100-100 against righties. And with a little bit of, what's it called? Parallels, captain, stuff like that. Those cards can play pretty decent. Or just like with a good swing. Adam Dunn does have a home run that I hit 116 miles an hour today. I whiffed that. I must have jerked the PCI right at the end. That was good timing in the yellow somehow. If he throws that for a strike, it's a home run. I'm letting you know right now. Instead, I get a slider that I hit too well. Ends up in the glove. Can't even see the dot of my PCI. That's how good it was squared up. Man, good swings that inning. We are down 1-0. Grandal, Wood, and Wilson. So Wilson, I think, is he a primary catcher? Maybe Grandal's a DH. Grandal's catching. Wilson is playing shortstop. Maybe he's a primary shortstop. I just remember him having like weird secondaries. Yo, what up, Beast Joe? Appreciate you, man. Hope everything's good. Good month for the White Sox. Some good news out of Chicago for once, thankfully. We love to see it. This person's got like I think I would say a top-notch team. They've got the James Wood, the Bryce Harper. They've got a lot of monthly cards in there for sure. Wrong. Sorry, trucking. Banned. There's that sinker. Doing well. Good, good. Few of those sliders so far. They've liked throwing that slider for strikes. That's what I've noticed so far. Man. Robert, I think my two good swings with him. Oh, one of them was pulled, but it was a pitch away. I feel like the away pitches for him are the move. Kittel's still doing his thing. I think I've got 2 or 3 homers with him today. Batting .373 in the 9 hole. I really should probably lead him off. Genuinely my best player. And this is not a small sample size. I think he has the most at-bats on my team as well, if not Roman Anthony. So I think I had Roman Anthony for a little longer. I don't know if Roman Anthony has left my squad. He's probably been on there since like day 1 almost. Actually, he was a collection card, so maybe not quite day 1. But very close to it. Because other than moments, I really haven't grinded anything. I've just played a bunch of ranked. Maybe a little bit of showdown, but that's about it. Showdown moments. Digo's changeup is 80 miles an hour. I need something with him that comes in really slow. Like in the 70s. His changeup and his curveball are both 80. I need to throw more 4-seamers. 48 speed up the line. We should get both. Just barely, actually. It was way closer than I thought it would be. Well, we're back to the top of the lineup. Does that mean I have no hits? Since the leadoff man is up to start the 4th? And I've had pretty decent swings, I think, this game. At least 1 to 2 good ones per inning. Staying alive. We'll call that an all-star foul ball. Got to get some homers for trucking right here. Brian Reynolds loves the foul ball home run. 108 off the bat. I was going to say, when I need someone to break the streaks, Roman Anthony is my guy. I'm going to... Close. I was feeling like I needed to go back on that one, but I felt like I might even get backpicked at first, so I just kept going. Check swing, call strike. Said I swung and missed on that one. Apparently it's in the handbook that clutch doesn't mean as much as we think it does. Like, it still creates splits. Oh, gets over the head. Let's go. I'll take it. I deserve that one after this start to this game. I need to turn up my camera brightness in a second. We're just going to let him walk me in the meantime. There we go. Adam Dunn. He's liking those elevated pitches. That one's 114 off his bat. Didn't leave that one up to chance. There you go, Truckin'. Enjoy. What was I saying before that? Bombas. I don't remember. There was something. Oh, the clutch thing. So it says that, like, you know, you have your splits. Let's say you have 100 contact right, 60 contact left. There's something close to what Casas has 110 contact right, actually. And then let's say he has 100 clutch. The 100 clutch doesn't actually give you like 100 contact against each side. It like somewhat splits the difference between what your split is. So you have 110 contact right, and your clutch is 100. It makes it so that your contact is close to like 105, like averaging it or something. And then your contact left is 60 and your clutch is 100. So your contact against left with runners in scoring position is actually like 80, something along those lines. So they say it's like you're still going to see, excuse me, you're still going to see a PCI size difference between righty and lefty with runners in scoring position, even though like the attribute that comes into play is clutch. So I think it's a little misleading how they've described it up until now, because they just say that it replaces your contact rating, but the handbook doesn't say that. The handbook says there's more things that factor into it, or more nuance, I guess, which is like fine. I don't think it's unreasonable for them to put it that way, but I feel like it's pretty misleading compared to what we've been understanding about clutch the last few years. So I don't think anybody from the dev team has described it that way. Laser beam 111 right into the glove. What are they hiding? Could be anything at this point. If they're willing to mislead us about that, what else could they mislead us about? Could be anything. There we go. Man. So I tried to cancel the throw and redo the meter, and I was like, okay, cool. I have enough time to do this. Please get that ball. I don't know why he thought he was going to score with Grandal there, but so I pump faked the first one so I could reset my meter. But then when I did get the green on the next one, he didn't look like he wanted to throw it. So I was like, okay, I'll cancel it again. Good catch. And then all of a sudden, he starts to throw it. As soon as I cancel it that second time, he starts to wind up his throw. So Unlucky for me. But I think that just might be because Joey Bart's defense is so bad. I think he just gets slower animations. You think the devs get real 99s of themselves? No. I think we would have seen them if they do. But they do get themselves in, like, they put themselves into franchise. Forget the 99. I think they're all in franchise in the minor leagues or something. Oh, only one batter scheduled for the next inning. Another couple of good swings that inning, by the way. At least 2 lineouts, but my opponent had a lineout too, but I don't know if he's had as many as I had. I haven't been paying attention to his, just mine. 33 pitches for Martin. They also get, the devs, I think, get special, like, name cards or whatever, like icons. Because I have played at least one dev before on stream. And they had, like, I don't remember exactly what it said, but something like MLB The Show development team or whatever. Somehow this is a pitcher's duel. I didn't expect that to start the game. And I'm under that one. Shoot. Thought I was all over it. PCI came in a little smaller than I was expecting to. Maybe Trinan has some good per 9s. That one's gone? Dude, the chase just late. This game makes no sense. I understand that was like a perfectly hung sweeper, and I'm assuming that's the reason why I got rewarded for it, but that was close. I've homered on that pitch before. Costas has had some good swings, especially if I don't have to pull the ball with him. All right. They don't want us to succeed. I'm actually going to have to look at the swing feedback after this game. This one's crazy. Happens sometimes on All-Star. That's actually the reason why on All-Star, usually I prefer to use hitters that have lower contact. Sometimes when you have too high of contact, you just don't get rewarded for it. That's also in the handbook, as we know. You're more likely to get rewarded for swinging, for squaring up a ball with a low contact hitter. And there you go, Joey Bart with his 70-something contact. And adjust early swing. Love it. That's the pitch I can never hit with Robert. Low and in, nothing. Middle away, for some reason, I can get to him. Can get to with him. Could tell the reason why I put him in the bottom of the order is because I don't hit well with him with runners in scoring position. His clutch is fine. It's nothing crazy, but for some reason, I can't get rewarded with him usually. And finally, just had to talk a little bit of smack. Game's over. Just like that. Well, it said lost collection. We haven't left the game yet. There we go. I think half of our games have been quit so far. We're up to 605. There we go. Brian Reynolds. Adam Dunn. A little bit of stubbage. Let's see what we got. We had one game that went down to the wire, lost it. I think other than that, we're 4-1 today. Well, including that one, we're 4-1 today. Including at least 2 quits. Brady Singer, is this card good? Sinker, slider, circle change. I've never been good with any Brady Singer cards. It's a little bit inflated by his home runs per 9. And his velo is a little inflated by his sinker, which I don't really care about the velo on that. I'm going to keep him just because he's so cheap. Pretty much quick sell value, so not really worth selling unless I need to. I can do that later. Anything new in this one? Pipeline Past and Crescent Moon. Let's try the Pipeline Past. Mitch Keller. Also nothing exciting going on here. He's got a cutter. Hang on to him. All right, I'll be back. Hopefully I get enough for, hopefully I have enough time to play at least a couple more games, but give me a couple minutes. I will be right back. Get into another game. Cat typed in chat. I respect it. There we go. Momo is back. Almost getting pretty good typing. Proud of Momo. He's just sprawling out. All right. I didn't see who was on the mound. Forgot to look up fast enough. We got a Nate Pearson. I think this one has a sinker, right? It's like an R1 pitch. It's got the 3,000 strikeouts icon. That seems like a lot. I feel like their logo or their username feels like a goon username, you know? Cracked Kid username. What do people say these days? Goon was like 5 years ago. Cracked Kid was like 2-3 years ago. I don't know what people call it anymore. They are pumping the heat. Immediately throws a circle change. Circle change is 79 miles an hour. I didn't realize he had that much of a differential. And 89 on the slider. Interesting. Thankfully, his sinker doesn't look like it moves like crazy. But I do have to be ready for it. Adam Dunn getting another one. A just late swing to right center. But that was fully in the green as well. I'll never understand the feedbacks. Last year, I actually had turned the feedback off because it made so little sense. Soriano, can it stay fair? Soriano. I don't know why, but that Len Casper call is like one of my favorites of all time. I think it was like a walk-off grand slam. Oh, he snags it behind his back. All right, we get a couple. 2-out home run from Adam Dunn. I actually had placed an order for this Derek Jeter earlier. It never ended up going through, so we haven't used him yet. That'll make it a 4-0 ball game. Yeah. It was definitely one of the funniest calls of all time. If not the funniest. As much of a yikes as it was. It was the perfect amount of funny and cringeworthy to just be possibly the most iconic of all time. Can we say that? Can we call that as the most? I don't know. Maybe. It's probably the most quoted call of all time, right? Dunn couldn't get back to the bag, unfortunately, there. It almost took him right to the bag, but when he got up, he didn't end up in the right spot. Here's that Joe Adele card. I don't think I faced it yet. Yo. Plays up to a 95. This card's really good. I can see why you like him. It's correct, my guy. Sure is. I remember that card too. It was like a Future Stars 95 overall. I think it was a 95 overall. I feel like that was one of the first Future Stars cards ever. Am I remembering that right? Joe Adele Future Stars. I think so, right? And that was like, I want to say that was a super expensive card too. It's like really hard to get. I finally got that card, and I remember like not being able to hit with him. All right, we gave up a couple base runners, but keep the 2-0 lead into the second. Something about his delivery makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why. He just looks like he's like reaching back for something extra every time he throws. That also means you can see the ball pretty early. Oh, I think it's the fact that he's in the stretch. That's why I'm getting thrown off. I'm expecting a windup, and then it's just a stretch. Now that I've figured that out, it should be a little easier to get used to. Excuse me. I'll take that. That's a strike for sure. There's a sinker low and into Robert. Can't hit that pitch. And snags it. Is that Adele in right field, or is he in center? Is Yoan playing second base? Is this a primary second base card? Primary third, but he does play second. Towards the end of the bat. Reynolds got it. Scott rolling in the 7-hole. Tough. Unfortunately, he is still good against lefties, from what I understand. But I've heard his like swing against righties is not ideal. This guy doesn't have Beltran, does he? Unless Beltron somewhere at the bottom of the lineup. Or I forgot facing him. I did kind of blindly give up some runs in the first. Here's trucking. That thing is striking. Am I getting a live look? Thought he's going to make another foul territory catch in the stands. This time, just a regular foul territory catch. Finally square up a ball, and it's out of the zone. Well, just late, but squared up on the PCI, I mean. With Brian Reynolds. Perfect. Roman Anthony to right center. That was a sinker. I knew he was going to throw that right afterwards. I knew it. Tanking 101 on the inside corner. Bye-bye. Nate Pearson got him crossed off the list. Got a bat skin rewind pack. That's crazy. Pack 17 headliner. 100 career wins. And I already have all these. We get 2 pizza bats. Okie dokie. And away we go for the next game. This one's going to be Bob Feller, I believe. Thankfully getting matchups pretty quick tonight. So a Yankees team here. I didn't see how many Yankees players, but they got enough clearly. But yeah, I was gonna buy this Jeter card. Ended up continuing to use Ketel Marte, and I'm at least happy with that decision. 102 down the pipe. Getting away with it. This person also has a World Series icon, so this will be a good test for Bob Feller. The last guy beat up on Whitey Ford, but wasn't really hitting Satchel Paige. Last guy with a World Series icon, I should say. Thankfully, I got that pitch where I needed it. Anywhere closer to the zone, that's probably a home run. Because I'm sure in order to pull the ball that way, the timing had to be good, and the PCI had to be that good. The only thing that won was the pitch location. Feller's changeup is 80. So he goes from 100 to 80. Will Warren. Sweeper, sinker, circle, change, curveball. No crazy velo. No cutter. Sweeper, curveball combo. So no slider either. So this one, pretty much everything. I can really just look to put everything away here. Welcome back, Matt. Everything I can try to hit the other way. And if it's slow, then I can just pull it. Close to the pitch I homered on with Anthony last game. How's the promoted life going? Very late. That's exactly the pitch I homered on last game. I happen to have a third car now, and I'm trying to sell. It's funny how hard it is to sell a car, apparently. Have you been getting feedback on why people are not biting? Have you been able to like show it people and they're like, nah, I'm not, I'm good. And saying why? Yeah, selling a car sounds like a pain. All right, sweeper got me. Scott Rowland versus the righty. Let's see what we got. Looking for an emergency card, but they've just been hesitant to pull the trigger. Gotcha. So the third card that you got. Oh, God. Scott Rowland versus the righty, giving up a home run. Maybe Bob Feller is not him. What up, Z? First home run with Scott Rowland, just early. It's pretty much the only place you can't put it. Fastball low and away, because when people say that they can't hit, like when a lot of people say they can't hit with a certain card, it usually means it's hard to pull the ball with them when the ball's inside. But when the ball's middle away like that, but still hanging, that's one of the few spots they're going to be able to hit. Doesn't want to go through the process and eventually found a family member who's selling that one. Okay. The other one I'm still waiting on, but haven't heard back in a few days. So is the third car the new one that you're just getting rid of? You're just like flipping? Or are you hanging on to the new one and getting rid of an old one? Here's Bernie Williams in the 7th hole, a.k.a. Aaron Hicks, the original Aaron Hicks. Hanging on to the new one, trying to sell the old one. Makes sense. What's the new one you got? Here's what I need to do against Scott Rowland, because Piazza's probably in the same boat. He's going to hit the fastball away, but he's not going to hit the fastball inside unless you completely sell out for it. 25 to 55, looking for 3. The dealer's only offering 800. Yeah, makes sense. They'd probably be selling it for 6 or something. Soriano knocks it down, but nobody's going to be at first then. Two outs, and they're able to get it back to the top of the order. Yeah. Have you had to sell a car before? So I know you had like the one a couple of years ago that I don't remember exactly what happened, but you like sold it to a family member or something. Is this the first like private sale you're actually doing? There we go. I thought I got under that one for a second. There we go. Just sneaks out over the fence. Hit really well, but sometimes you get on top of that a little bit and hits the top of the fence. I was hoping I was going to get a breaking ball because I'm not going to hit a fastball with Robert. I've already given up on that, but these off speeds like right at the bottom of the zone, middle away, I've been on those at least. So real quick, we come back with solo homers, tie up the game. Shuffled around a few cars lately. Oh, really? What's different about this one then? That it's harder to sell? Or have they all been like that? What you up to, Z? What you playing these days? Assuming you're on break and get some free time. We're going to have a play here a second. Perfect throw might have got him, but still, he got in there. Other one I always sold to my parents that wanted it. Looking decent, then swept by the Blue Jays. I feel that for sure. The White Sox have been doing a little bit of that this month too. Like they split a couple series against good teams. Like they split against the Tigers, but that was coming off a sweep against the what's it called? Orioles. They got swept by the Orioles. They got swept by the Royals. I think they won the recent one against the Royals, but then they split against the Tigers. So what do you know? That's just baseball. Slider down the middle. Cannot throw any semblance of a quality pitch to Scott Rowland, apparently. 2 homers against a righty for Scott Rowland. Probably the first time that's ever happened this year in MLB The Show. They've been hitting all the bad pitches. And some of the good pitches. I think they knew after flying out on a fastball, I was probably going to throw him another fastball after he homered on the slider. It'll make sense that he was looking for it. We're just going to have to turn this one into a slugfest. Are the Cardinals in contention so far this year? I don't even know who's on that team anymore. Is it the same guys as a few years ago? Last 2 years? Very low expectations. Makes sense. Played surprisingly well. That's the pitch I was looking for. Darn. Bautista, I've done a decent job of like staying on pitches and hitting like right center home runs. Even though I feel like seems like he's kind of built to pull pitches. Done a decent job of hitting it the other way. But Bautista's just been good for me overall. Pulling the balls down the line. Hitting balls hard to right center. And I love hitting pitches away with Soriano. Keep throwing me that. See if they go lefty against Casas early in the game. They paused like they were thinking about it. I didn't think they would throw 2 strikes in a row. Certainly not 3. All right, here we go. Payoff pitch. And down the line, it's going to be foul. That was a good. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Good pitch on. Threw a lot of fastballs in that at bat. This was a good pitch after that. There you go. Mike Piazza hitting the fastball inside for once. Been struggling for the past week or two. Gotcha. Does it seem like the kind of team that has, I don't know, the pitching or the talent to stay in it for the year now that you kind of see how things are shaking out? There's definitely been a few years where, like, you kind of see a team that's in first place and you're just like, okay, the only reason they're in first place is because their bullpen has, like, been really good, but you don't actually have any talent in the bullpen. They've just been all hot at the same time. And you know, as soon as that, like, one guy breaks, then the whole team is going to collapse. I've definitely seen that happen sometimes. But sometimes it's like, hey, you think there's low expectations because you have some talented guys getting called up. They're not expected to do much, but develop, but then they all start to get hot pretty early. Already out of it because ownership still. Gotcha. Only half paying attention. Yep, same here. We've at least been, like, calling some dudes up Some of the rookies have been playing pretty well. Pitching staff's been doing decent. Starting staff at least, from what I'm noticing. But I think the wins lately have been there a little bit more often, but definitely started poorly. They finally cut some people, sent some guys down, so nice to not have to deal with their at bats anymore. Looking at you, Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn got sent down, and he's still doing poorly in the minors. Sucks for him because, I don't think he ever played in the minors. I think they just brought him straight up to the majors. I don't know if that was COVID related or whatever. I think that was the case for Garrett Crochet at least. Made contact with that somehow. All right, Robert homered last time up. It's another guy that throws out of the stretch. But he actually does his windup, but he starts like it's going to be a stretch. This one could drop. It does. Gets over the center fielder's head. Staying at first, though. Late jammed. Could tell, my boy. Grounds into a double play. Good pitch, though. Tip the cap on that one. First couple innings had some pretty good swings. This previous inning swung at all the pitcher's pitches. I think this will probably be the last game of the night. We're going to put everything we have into this one. That's crazy. He would not move. I was just trying to run to the bag, and he just stood there. I believe, sir. Thank you. I will keep that in consideration. Oh, my God. Getting out against... Oh, just kidding. I lied. Shouldn't have said anything. Should not have said a word. Should not have opened my mouth. Thankfully, he didn't swing at that one. I feel like he's probably looking for a fastball. I'm going to throw a sinker. Gets the take there. Finally got him out, but just barely. I said it again before making the play. I guess I didn't learn from the first time. Swing and a miss from Santander. I think the curveball and the changeup are pretty similar speeds. That's tough. That's real tough. Thank goodness. This guy's definitely turned on some fastballs, so it's not automatic. Rolled over on that one. I think I was saying earlier that I need to put everything the other way because nothing's moving into me except the slow sweeper and curveball. Circle change, sinker, four seam, I believe. See what Jose can do. Pop out and a ground out. First pitch sweeper last time, and I hit it into a double play. Called it a strike. Called it a swing. 46 pitches through 5 innings. I was late on the curveball. I think maybe I was looking for a little bit of the sweeper break, and it didn't, like, keep going laterally. It just stopped and went straight down. That was interesting. Got me off my timing. See if we get a perfect one on here. There we go. Below the zone. Perfect. I was trying to make sure that didn't catch any part of the zone. It was way lower than I thought it would be, but even if he hadn't swung at it, that's fine. I just didn't want it to hang. See, I've thrown some decent amount of fastballs inside, but not too many away, I think. Trying to see if they were looking for it at all. And taken. I feel like this slider has not really been effective for me today. Marte. Safe at first. He's a little bit slow. Doesn't have the strongest arm. He does have good defense, but he's definitely not automatic with those plays. The secondary goes down from diamond to gold, so. Does that new Jeter card have any speed? I think his defense is also in the 70s. Good swing. Probably should have taken out Bell. Whatever his name is. This guy. Bob Feller earlier. There's probably no reason for him to give up 6 runs in that game. I mean, 9 runs. Derek Jeter has 72 speed. Not quite enough to make up for his 70s defense. I feel like get him up to gold defense with your parallels. A little bit more speed. Probably fine out there. Need the big hurt to pinch hit. It's a good idea. Josh Hader with a 5-something ERA. We know what's about to happen. It's been a while since 2-run Hader. White Sox heroes that weren't the biggest stars. It's so weird because I like mentally overrated every White Sox player in like the 2010 era. It was just like, oh, I think this guy's like pretty good. Like Alexei Ramirez. Well, Alexei was actually like, I actually thought Alexei was worse than a lot of other people did. Like he won a Silver Slugger and stuff, and he had a cool rookie year. Why is this ball like glitching? It's glitching like right at the end. Alexei might have been one of them. There are a few guys that were like, you know, had a good rookie season, like Gordon Beckham, and then like he would always make this diving play to his left, like once a game. He was playing second base, but shifts kind of took him away from that because it was like people hit the ball in the hole between first and second. And now it's like, okay, if a lefty is up, there's already going to be somebody playing in that spot. All that at bat just for a double play. That sucks. I just swung at everything. St. Louis had a lot of them, absolutely. Burley and Maglio. They definitely weren't like stars of the league necessarily, but well, was Maglio? Like I started watching like I think right after Maglio retired. It was a very late jam. That's crazy. And early good apparently. All right. 2-run hater is still out of reach. Definitely like Burley, I think, was one of the all-timers for the White Sox, though. So does that count? I'm sure he had many All-Stars. I'm not sure of his accolades necessarily. I think he is a Hall of Fame case just because of his 2 no-hitters, including a perfect game and longevity. Need Mags in the game? That would be great, yeah. Did I tell you my story about Burley? I don't think so. I'll give you one back, Truckin. One of my favorite players of all time. Definitely, like before Tim Anderson came in the league, my favorite player was Javi Baez. Probably still is. Like I'm pretty excited that he's like good again. If I got a blue throw, I would have thrown all the way home. I think I could have got him. His dad came in. Interesting. This is starting to ring a bell. Big catch from Luis. Like, there were some fun players on those White Sox teams, like Jim Thome, Jermaine Dye, Aaron Rowand. I'm trying to think of like who I actually liked on the team. With guys like Alejandro De Aza. I was just thinking about him the other day. But then there are always like these random dudes like Jason Nix and Josh Fields. They would hit for like power. They'd hit like 15 home runs a year for a couple of years. And I was like, oh, these guys are going to be great. And then they're like not actually that good. Chris Getz was on the team. We had a backup catcher, Ramon Castro. He actually caught Burley's perfect game, I believe. I believe he caught Burley's perfect game, but he would always hit like home runs off the bench. So that was fun. Brent Lillibridge. He had one crazy season, 1.5. Lives on a farm in St. Charles, Missouri. I believe it. He wasn't big at the time. Interesting. First paycheck. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so cool. It's illegal. His dad was upset. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Brian Reynolds continues to be horrendous with runners in scoring position. He might be 0 for with runners in scoring position. I think that's what I saw. I live in Chicago. I live near Chicago. In the burbs. And popped out good week. I always get under those sinkers with Roman Anthony. I had a homer on one last game with him, but get under him a lot. Maybe about the same number of hits. That's something. Who else were some low-key players? We always had good first basemen. Konerko to Abreu. We thought Vaughn was going to be the next step, but not so the case. Who else can I think of? We had Carlos Quentin. He was having some great seasons. He was having a great season, and then he punched his bat. That was in the one time they made the playoffs in 2008. Would it have been different for them? Probably not, but maybe. Who else was good on those teams? Trying to think of people who played the outfield. They had some really horrible players. Like they kept bringing in these dudes to play second and right field, and they could not get quality players there. And they would bring dudes who were like formerly decent. One guy I remember was Jeff Keppinger. He had like a decent career. And then it comes to the White Sox and it stalls out. So many DHs that didn't pan out. Mostly named Adam. Adam Dunn. Adam, what's his face? I can't remember his name anymore. LaRoche. And then they would always bring in people past their prime. Like Jimmy Rollins. I think Jimmy Rollins was the one who complained about Adam LaRoche's son being like on the field during spring training. And then Adam LaRoche just retired. They also had Adam Eaton, but Adam Eaton had a couple good seasons with the Sox. They brought him back later. They traded him for like Giolito and Ronaldo, I think. So they got a lot of value out of that trade too. Well, scored again early and then couldn't get back on the board. Seemed to have a lot of those. But again, a lot of hits in this game for me. Gavin Floyd, starting pitcher for the Sox. There's an era there that I thought the Sox were better than they were, but the reason is because they had not like a ton of like superstar pitching, but they had like just a lot of quality starts. I think there was a stretch of like 5 years or something where they would just lead the league in quality starts. And so I thought they were like a decent team because they were always in the game. They would play like 500 ball. And they were always like competitive just because they didn't give up a lot of runs. But they never like put the offense together. They just couldn't do it. Oh yeah, the World Series run, that was a whole nother level. Was what, 4 shutouts in a row or something? In the ALCS, I want to say. And for a few years after that, they had some of those guys. They had, I don't remember how long they had Freddie Garcia, but I think he stuck around for a while. He might have left and came back. That should have been a double play. I thought there were 2 outs. Freddie Garcia, they had Contreras for a few more years at least. Gavin Floyd was one of those guys. Floyd was like a little bit more of, you weren't sure what he was going to do. He had a big curveball. Some days it just wasn't snapping. That sucks. Orlando Hernandez. Wait, what was his name? El Duque. He wasn't. I don't think he was on the team after the World Series. Well, I started watching in 2008, so that's like where I'm thinking of. The 2008 to the next like 5 years or so, maybe even just like 3 years. John Danks. He was good for a little bit, but then he had back issues, and I think he signed a big contract and then like was bad after that. Bobby Thigpen. I don't remember much of him, if at all. They had a guy named Eric Threets that pitched a few games. That was one of my favorite names. One of my favorite names of all time. They had a decent bullpen for a few years too. They had Matt Thornton in there. They would always develop like a closer here and there. Sergio Santos, Addison Reed. I think they only had Addison Reed for like a year. And they traded him for Matt Davidson, I believe, who really didn't do anything for us. He had one of the worst swings I've ever seen, too. Oh, Alex Rios, low-key. That's who I couldn't think of. Alex Rios, we signed off of waivers. He like signed a big contract with Toronto. And then one day they just put him on waivers and Sox took him. And he had like 4 or 5 years remaining on that contract. And he did have a couple of good years for us. Bad game for me there. A lot of ground balls. 11 hits. Couldn't score, though. Like, I had a good stretch in the middle of the game against Bob Feller. Hitting a lot of home runs. Gleyber Torres. Nick Enright. I don't know if I can read that, let alone pronounce it. GG's, though. Pretty good run today. Some fun games in there. One of them not as fun. Never want to end on a loss, but unfortunately I got to go to the office tomorrow, so you just said it's not available. 25.39. That's funky. There's Jacob Wilson. And a deluxe pipeline. Alrighty. Let's take a look at the schedule. Next week I will definitely not be streaming. Wait. Next week I probably won't be streaming. I gotta travel the next day. The following week I definitely won't be streaming. And then we'll see after that. After that, my schedule might change completely. July is going to be funky. Rest of June's going to be funky. We will see. We might not even be doing Wednesdays in a month. We will have to reevaluate what the schedule is going to look like in a bit. St. Louis next week anyway. Gotcha. Maybe that works out then. All right, let's go raid. We're going to go say hi to Ottawa. It's playing Mind's Eye. I don't know what this is, but that's okay. So keep an eye out on Discord for updates on welcome back, Jackie. Welcome back to Canada, almost. Yeah, so look out on Discord for any updates on what we're gonna change up, or if I'm able to sneak in stream here or there. Oxulate. Bye, boss man. See you guys. Hope you had a good time. I will catch you next time. Peace.